Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sunil and today we will learn how to improve UI performance. This is the second part of the video. In previous video we have learned what is UI performance. So now we will learn more details on monitoring UI performance and fixing the issues. So, for more such videos, subscribe my channel. For any queries, write in the comment. Now let's have a look on our example. Here I have created a sample where we have one image and a few buttons, that 4 buttons. So image will get downloaded from external URL, and on press of buttons it will navigate to different activity. So let's launch that app. This image got downloaded from external URL, and on press of that activity 2, I'm launching to another activity, and you can see some delay because I'm performing some task in and after that I'm showing the result. So on click of this activity 2, it will navigate to another activity where it will have one image and one text, nothing else. Okay, now here I have created another, that is a home activity. On press of home activity, I am just rendering few images, nothing else. So click on that. You can see that there is a few images at the bottom section, and also the same is the case for home activity 2, but it is the different way of rendering the images, or not images, we can say it is different layout itself, but it looks similar, but the layout is different. Now let's see the screen rendering in our Firebase. So in our performance tab, by default network request gets selected. So select the screen rendering section. So if you say select here, then you will get your screen rendering details here. So for main activity, you can see frozen frames is 18.18%. If you click here, you will get all the details of frozen frames, slow rendering percentage and frozen frame percentage. And as we have discussed that in our previous video, that frozen frames are more crucial, so we need to resolve them. And if we see the main activity 2, which we launched, it has no frozen frame, only slow rendering. And same is the case of that home activity, whatever we have launched, and home activity 2, sorry, new home activity. Here also the same, 100% slow rendering, 0% frozen frame. Now let's have a look on the layout structure of home activity 1 and home activity 2. There are two home activity. Here if you just see, the screen looks same. In bottom we are showing 5 images in home activity 1, and in home activity 2 also we are doing the same thing, showing 5 images, nothing else. Now let's see the layout activity. So this is the layout, and now let's see the hierarchy. Here we can see that there are lots of nested tree. This is parent, so this is parent, then child, so lots of nested. And if we see activity, the second one, home activity 2, there let's see the structure. We can see that it is very simpler one, means there is less hierarchy, but UI is same for both of the things. So we'll learn those things later, that why that is important. Now let's see the custom traces. But if we have set up the Firebase performance, we can directly get this screen rendering, and we can get the network request. But for performance, for custom traces, we need to add a trace for that. So here I have added for onCreate method of main activity, that is the trace name is onCreate trace main activity and this is the annotation. I have already set up the Firebase performance, but now I have set up this one for custom traces. For this method, I want to know how long this method execution takes for main activity. Now I have created, I have added the same thing for main activity 2, where the name I have given that onCreate trace main activity 2, and this is the traces, add traces. Here we can see I have written that 4000 millisecond, that is 4 second sleep. That means doing some operation to assume that, and that's why there was some delay while loading that page. So I have, and if I put this annotation, then it will execute for that method block. Similarly, I have added for onResume method of this main activity. Now let's see how it shows in the dashboard. This is our Firebase dashboard, custom traces onCreate main activity 1, this one, where we have one image and 4 buttons. It took 369 millisecond. That onCreate method took 369 millisecond to complete. Now for main activity 2, where we have added the sleep method, 4 second sleep method, there the onCreate method took 4.12 second. That means user will be waiting there in that screen for that 4.12 second. Now the onResume method, it took around 739 microseconds. So this Firebase can give all the information for all of your customers. So that means it is available in production ready or release mode. So in that way we can, as we have already got the details, that means we can resolve the issues. Now let's see how to resolve the issues. The screen rendering and custom traces in Firebase. Now let's understand what are the root cause of UI rendering issues and what are the solutions. So first is executing non-UI related task in UI thread. That means it's if you perform some non-UI related code in main thread, that will delay the UI rendering, because UI rendering generally happens in main thread. So what is the solution? So solution is perform the non-UI tasks in background thread. Here I have written the problem areas in red color and the solution in white color. So perform the non-UI related task in background thread and then update the UI in main thread. Okay. Now next cause is the UI layout or hierarchy is huge. So solution is flatten the UI or layout hierarchy. Means smaller the hierarchy, the faster is the execution. Now let's understand why is it like that. So we have seen in our example that one contains a smaller tree to achieve the same UI, and another contains bigger tree to achieve the UI. So generally this UI rendering, it works on depth first traversal. So first parent, it draws the parent or compute the parent, then it computes all the childs, and after completion of the child, then it return back to the parent, and then parent task is done. So in that case it is like recursive. So as the UI renders works like depth first traversal, when the tree depth is more, the computation on the view dimension will take more time, hence it causes delay in rendering. That's why it's better to flatten the UI hierarchy. Instead of creating complex UI, we can create smaller UI. Another root cause of the UI related issue is nested scrollable component, like scroll view inside another scroll view, or scroll view inside recycler view inside recycler view, all these things. So solution will be avoid using nested scrollable component, means make your UI simple. And next problem root cause of problem is updation of scrollable component. For example, updating the RecyclerView component using notifyDataSetChanged, or RecyclerView or list view inflation, bind or layout. Those methods can cause UI rendering issues. So solution is update the necessary component only, not all component. For example, use diff utils for RecyclerView while using that notifyDataSetChanged. Also, it's better to use with index as well, instead of directly updating all the elements. And then reduce the computation on main thread. Next set of problem is lots of usage of wrap content or intrinsic content size for dimension of any view, like image. Generally we use wrap content or intrinsic content size. So in that case, at runtime, the view dimension gets calculated and then it is rendered. So that also causes the slow rendering. Prefer fixed width or height, means fixed dimension for any view. That will reduce the slow rendering. Let's say in case of example, let's take an example. In case of image view, instead of wrap content, we can give any fixed width and height. Then another way or another root cause of the such type of problem is early loading of big images or resource. Like if I use image view dot set image resource, then given the big image, then that will cause slow rendering or frozen frame. Instead of that, use lazy loading, or we can say on demand basis loading. And from all of this, we found the root cause of all these issues are like your UI thread is performing too much computation, hence unable to draw UI. That means we need to release the UI, means less computation on the main thread. So plan accordingly to perform less operation on main thread or to unblock the UI. Thank you.